So in the last 12 months, our agency clients signed nearly 100 10K plus retainers, but they didn't get there by working crazy hours or offering loads of new services. In fact, most of them just started charging more. But in order to charge more and sell high ticket services appropriately, there are 3 things that you and your agency need to do. So in this video, I'm going to explain what they are. So this first piece of advice might surprise you, because when most agency owners hear the phrase 10K retainer, their minds immediately go to, am I worth that much? That seems far too expensive. No one's gonna be willing to spend that much. I actually had the same thought. So about 6 years ago, I was on a sales call and I thought that the client might be a bit of a pain. So I added a pain in the ass tax and I 3 times my fee. And I presented the cost with loads of confidence because ultimately I didn't care what their response was. So in fact, I was actually kind of looking for them to say no, but they immediately said yes, and I was shocked. So there was 2 lessons in this. The first was that it was my own limiting belief that was holding back my value and not allowing for me to really see what I was truly worth. And that when I didn't care about the price that I was showing, it added a whole lot more confidence and thus made me a better salesperson. I want you to do some reflection of the types of results that you have had with clients, and then make a determination of what was the actual ROI that they were able to accomplish. Was it 3x, 5x, 10x, 100x, 1000x, which gives you an understanding of a place to be able to understand what your value truly is, and to start to recognize that when you start to charge a new fee, that it is going to have a little bit of this confidence drag, if you will. And then over time, as you start to say the price over and over again, it becomes second nature, and you end up not being in a place where you feel not so confident about it. So I want you to check where you currently are and what your perception is of your own value, and is it holding you back? Now, there have been so many agencies that I've spoken with that have balked at the idea that they could sell their services for $10,000 plus a month. And by the way, many of my clients are selling their services at $60,000, $80,000 plus per month. And that they ultimately said that their clients could not afford it, but they were really wrong. So to explain my point, I want you to imagine that you're in a negotiation, but rather than starting at the highest dollar amount, you end up starting at the lowest. But once you end up showing the number, you end up freaking out and say that you can adjust the cost and maybe you can make it cheaper and that there's things that you can ultimately do to bring the cost down, not knowing that the person across the table from you had planned on spending twice that amount. So what you ended up doing is that you ended up selling for less than your minimum because you negotiated with yourself. I want you to take some time to take a look at the size of clients that you've been working with, the amount of money that they have ultimately invested with you over time. What is a reasonable amount that they should be investing? Recognizing that what they are doing with you is an investment to solve a business challenge and that there are economics behind it. Once you have a clear understanding of those economics, you can understand the real limitation. So now you've overcome your self-doubt and you've successfully sold the 10K plus fee to yourself. So you know that you're worth the 10K and that your client has the $10,000 to spend. Now it's just a matter of them understanding the value of solving their problem. But how do we go about doing that? So I want you to imagine that you live in a city that gets very hot in the summer and you're on a hiking trail and you're selling ice cold water. Would you be able to sell that for a premium while you're there because there's nothing else around? Now I want you to imagine if you live in Alaska and you're selling the same water. Would you be able to sell that for the same premium in cold climates? Probably not. Why? Because there's a mismatch between the problem and the product or the solution. So I know that you don't sell water, but you do solve problems. And so what we need to do and what agencies should be doing is talking about the solutions, having an understanding about what the problems are. But what most agencies are doing are they're going directly to the deliverable, not understanding the core problem. So the third thing that you need to do is speak to the problems that your prospective clients are ultimately having. Being able to understand the known, the unknown, and the hidden problem. Having your clients understand what that actually is. And so the easiest way to go about doing this is just asking. And when you can align the problem that they are having with the solution that you offer, you're going to have a whole lot less of a commoditized viewpoint in your service or in your product, just the same way that was happening with the water in Alaska. It becomes less about the need or the deliverable. It becomes more about the risk assessment that they currently have and the desire for that outcome. So you can start selling cold water on a hot day in a hiking trail, making sure that you have a clear alignment between the problem and the solution that you offer. Okay, so now you know how to close high ticket clients, but what is the best way for you to find them? Is it cold calls? Is it paid ads? Well, I want you to check out this video where I explain how you can start generating 500 leads a month while you sleep.